Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday night, time for a new episode of the Ben Herrera Show. And, well, we're having fun here already because Malik is laughing. What were you laughing at?
Life.
Oh.
Life makes me laugh.
All right, so we got a special guest on tonight. And before we get to that, we are going to talk about our sponsors. So let's do that first. So we have Pure West Compassion Club is one of our sponsors, located at 9430 Adams Street, right next to Love's gas station. You can get a hold of them at 616-772-9420. For any of your needs, they are open daily 10 to 6, and on the weekends, I think they're 9 to 6. I'd have to double check that. And also we have Zamudio Ramos Cleaning Service. They are owned by Angela Zamudio. If you need any cleaning, factory, office, shoes, pretty much anything like that, get a hold of her, 616-321-0309, or you can get a hold of her on Facebook Messenger. All right, so tonight we got Malik. What's up, Malik's with his new leaks. Wait, locks. Wait, what were you call it? Locks, right?
What I got?
Your hair.
What about it?
Didn't you just get it done?
Oh, you said new locks. Yeah, I just put these on last night. The glue is still wet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Kiki Washington, man. Listen, Kiki is dope on the locks tip, man. Locks, braids. Y'all need any of that, man? Reach out to Kiki Washington, man. If y'all need her information, let us know. She'll get you together, man. So.
Yeah,
shout out to Kiki, man. I got a lot of compliments, man. It's got the first lineup, feeling good, looking good as usual, and life goes on. But feels good to be back, man. I was out of the building for a few days, had to take care of some affairs out of town, and Silence and Violence Walk, that was awesome. Good turnout, marching band. Mayor, police chief, just trying to heal the rooms, man, and preventative maintenance and protection for our kids, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no doubt, man. It's good to be back, man.
Sweet.
And
all right. Oh,
good friend in the building.
Yep, we got our special guest today. Oops, I always hit the wrong button.
Where'd she go?
Where's she go? Oh, there she is. We got Shawna Martin in the house. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, baby?
Thank you. Appreciate you coming through. Well, let's start it.
Wait,
We forgot someone. No?
He's fine. Well, dude, we already talked about that. Anyway, so we have a new book called Exposed: God's Love Revealed by Shawna Martin. And we're going to go ahead and toss it over to her if you want to explain the reason behind the book.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I just thank you guys for getting me on here.
Yep. Appreciate
Malik, good friend, several years. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you as well.
I just appreciate you guys helping me get this story out because I'm hoping to impact and help a lot of people.
Of course.
Which would be behind the book. But I didn't know that was what was going on. So the book came about. It was kind of crazy. It was about 13 years ago.
Okay.
I had a history of a lot of abuse, trauma, mental health issues, anxiety, depression, a lot of suicidal thoughts, maybe even bipolar. Because, I'm a woman, we all a little cray-cray, right? I got a lot of emotions going on.
Right.
So I was, that was the first, few decades of my life was a lot of stuff going on. And so in 2010, 2011, I fell into actually a year-long depression. Like I always kind of bounced from high to low. I kind of, was always either up or down. But that year was just down. It was just a very dark, black place. Like I remember the day and the moment still that the cloud just came over me. And I remember that. and I got stuck in there. And so I was just trying to get out of it. I was reading everything I could read about depression or what was going on with me. Like, how do I get out of it? Like, I was scary.
Yeah.
I was really scared with the thoughts I was having, and it was just so dark. It was so gloomy. There was no hope.
Right.
There was no hope there. And so, about in the middle of that year long, I met with one of my aunts for coffee. I don't drink coffee, but we met at a little coffee shop, and we were just chit-chatting, and she was my aunt who led me to Christ when I was 7 years old. So I grew up in the faith. I was, as a little girl, I grew up here in the churches, born and raised here in Holland. So know the churches, know a lot of people. And so anyways, and I was in my early 30s. This is 2011. So in the middle of the conversation, we're just chit-chatting and talking, and she just stops in the middle of this conversation. And she just blurts out, "I see you writing a book." And I'm instantly like, I'm not going to write a book.
So where'd you get that from?
I've never thought of writing a book, and I'm like, what am I going to write about that anybody's going to read about? And everything's been written about. Like, that was instant rebuke. I'm not writing. I had no desire to write a book.
Okay.
And no idea what I would write a book about. I got nothing. But God had a different plan. So about 2 weeks later, I was turning the bed down to go to bed. I was just, as soon as I pulled the blankets down, this book title just dropped in my head. Expose God's Love Revealed. Just out of the blue. And I didn't think anything much of it. Just like, I don't know, that's kind of cool, whatever. I don't know what that was. But I went to bed. And the next morning, as soon as I woke up, as soon as I opened my eyes, the chapter title started downloading instantly. I had to jump up and get a pen and paper. I was writing them as fast as they were coming. And they came all in chronological order, just completely down. 19 chapters.
Wow.
Bam, 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 I was writing. And it was like God was like, the Holy Spirit was on me, because I was writing like for 4 days.
Yeah.
I was just like filled with this supernatural power or something, because I just started writing in these chapters. I was writing scriptures I didn't even realize I knew. But again, I'd been digging my way up, so a lot was going in, at that time. And so for 4 days I wrote and was kind of filling in some of the chapters. And then kind of as quickly as this started, it ended. Like all of a sudden, God was gone. And I was like, I couldn't come up with any more material on my own. I had no self-effort there was nothing. Blank, So I went from like all this, I was like, I had this hope. I had a purpose. It gave me a glimmer of something, a light at the end of this tunnel. Like, okay, no, there is a reason for me to be on this earth,
Yeah.
This dark place I'm thinking I'm never going to get out of. So I'm like, well, what the heck just happened? Did I have like some like manic bipolar episode? Am I crazier than I thought? So it was, but I'm like, but I have like real evidence here. I have a book title. I have 19 chapter titles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the world? So I kind of I glanced at the chapter titles, and I looked at them, and I realized that I hadn't lived a handful of those chapters yet. It was another prophecy. It was another premonition, because I was like, well, I can't write these because I haven't lived them yet. So what ended up happening, I don't know this stuff back then. I just know I have this started. And it took 7 years for my life to unfold into every single one of those chapters. And I always had the book in the back of my mind. So when my seasons of my life changed, I was like, oh, that's going to be that chapter. Oh, that's that chapter. All I had was a chapter title. I had no idea what the details were going to be walking forward. I could see looking back. And when I looked at those chapter titles back then, I was like, oh, how is God going to get me through that chapter or that chapter? They look pretty hard just by the title. And then there were chapters that I was like, I thought were going to end completely different than what they did. But 2018, I knew it was time to write the book. I knew it was time to kind of pursue my dreams. I was burnt out at work, another office job. I was on my own, and I just knew I had something bigger to do. And I knew it was time. So I quit my job. I kind of planned it out for a couple months. I don't just, not so impulsive. I'm planned impulsive. I'm a planner, impulsively planner.
Yeah.
But so 2018, I lined it up, so I quit my job. I sold everything I owned, got rid of my apartment, bought a minivan, and lived out of it for 9 months, and wrote the book. And that was actually a chapter title.
You want to say that again? You lived in a van.
I lived out of my van.
Wow.
I lived out of my van for 9 months, and that's when I met Malik, 2018. We worked together at Escape with the summer program with the youth there. And that was actually a chapter title. It's called Get Rid of Everything and Get a Life.
What number?
And that was that
Chapter
last
10.
that was that last fulfillment. Yeah. So that chapter explains everything. It's amazing. Even that chapter is amazing how God fulfilled dreams in that. So
Yeah, because I was like, hey, what
yeah.
happened to Alexis?
Yeah, right. I had a Lexus.
Yeah, Alexis truck. I'm like,
Yeah, I can make a bed in the back of that Lexus.
yeah.
Or fit my kayak.
Lexus.
She's like, I got rid of. I was like, you got rid of the Lex. That mug was clean
It
too.
was clean.
Real clean vehicle.
Clean, but yeah, it was good. I mean, it was, and that year alone was amazing because I wasn't even thinking about chapter on that chapter because there's a lot of big stuff in here, but chasing your dreams, like, God gives us dreams and desires. Like, we're all here for a reason.
Oh yeah.
We all have a
I believe that.
purpose. We aren't just here by accident, And you guys are doing your thing.
It's funny that you said that real quick. But
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I know this is kind of weird to say, but I saw this article that was talking about similar to that, saying here we're not here by accident. Think about you're gonna laugh, all of the sperm that made it that far. And this was the article, I'm not joking. And it said, you made it that far.
Yeah.
And you're alive, so do something with it.
Yeah.
Don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Now, that's the reason why I brought that up. I didn't say it, it was just an article that I read. And I looked at it and it made me realize, wow, that is very, very true. Like, none of us could be here right now if it wasn't for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big thing to look at. So.
Yeah, it's crazy to think how things line up.
I know it's a weird way to look at it, but
I had a joke about that yesterday, so I was like, you was the fastest one? And you still made it.
right, exactly.
Yeah, because I know some people out there that I've encountered or still encounter. It's just like, man, bro.
They have a purpose.
Yeah, even a waste of space got purpose, bro.
Right.
Like, but who am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, I feel like I'm judging people. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like,
Yeah.
some different human beings out here. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, all we are is the shit we've been through. You know, excuse me, the stuff we've been through. Excuse my
Been
language.
through some stuff. Everybody's been through some stuff. If you're at least 13, you've probably been through some stuff already.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying that.
I see some of your titles are very interesting, and then so one that sticks out for me is there's a fungus among us.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
There's a fungus among us. So, so that one is all about, it's actually physical health. And you wouldn't think of it. I have been working with nutritionists and health coaches for over a decade. I mean, I grew up on government cheese, y'all, and hot dogs, macaroni.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
The good old days.
the good old days.
Yeah.
That was the 80s, 90s, Sam's Club. My, stepdad brought in all the good
I
cereals.
still remember when Walmart opened.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Lived off Pop-Tarts. Oh, yeah, Walmart. I remember when Meyer was Thrifty Acre on the north side.
Yeah. We were just talking about that.
Talking about that earlier.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. And so Fungus Among Us is all about physical health. There's a lot of good detail in there. It's about your gut health. So basically, if I sum up the book, and this being my healing journey from trauma, from abuse, mental health, like I had everything against me if you look at my personality type, my genetics, my background, my childhood, my family. Like I was, I had all the odds stacked against me to have a lot of struggles. And so, you know, we got to know that we're a three-part being. So we are physical, we are mental, emotional, soul, and we have a spirit. So, or we are a spirit, however, you know, I'm going to get all technical. So for God to heal me, you know, we tackled every area. He tackled every area with me. So one had to be, your gut is directly linked to your brain. Your gut health is so directly linked to your brain. So once I could get that also taken care of, that helped overcome anxiety, depression. Like you know, there's so many factors. When it comes to depression, there's over 100 causes of depression.
Wow.
And there's that many answers or remedies for it. So what happened is big thing is the depression probably started in my early teens and the suicidal thoughts, probably a good couple decades. And then the anxiety came a little bit later, my late 20s, and I had anxiety for 15 years. It was debilitating. It got to the point where I couldn't leave my home as agoraphobic. Basically, I'd have panic attacks everywhere for every reason. And so I had a lot to tackle. But cleaning up, like I said, like my gut health was one thing. Growing in my faith. I don't know how people do this without God, because at least I have something to cling to. I have, you know. So that's what I was going to say is basically, when you're growing and healing in all these areas, when you're recovering from abuse and trauma and mental health issues, addiction,
Yes.
what you're doing is you're just filling your tool belt with a lot of tools. So now when stuff, because life still happens, it's still coming at me, you know, and I'm in my mid-40s, and so, you know, and I can tell you the last 3 years of my life have been the most traumatic, and I've been in trauma since birth. So it doesn't go away, yet I didn't struggle with depression or anxiety going through it. That's like a testimony. I didn't even think of that, but that's like a testimony itself, that you can walk through this life and still have hope no matter what you're going through when you get that tool belt filled with tools. And that's my faith, that's my sense of humor, that's, you know, getting rid of toxic and abusive relationships, cleaning up my diet, changing the way I think and perceive things and perspectives, having an attitude of gratitude. The list goes on and on. If you want optimal health, you got to tackle every area: your spiritual life, your physical life, your mental and emotional life, your relationship, everything.
Yeah.
So that's what my healing journey really consists of, and that's what the book consists of, is that healing journey.
There's a part that I was reading. Oh, dang it, where'd it go? Hold on, it's at the beginning of 13. Oh, wait. Let me go backwards. 1 second. Hold on, Arab. Oh, here it is. So, because you said this at the beginning, because, I mean, there's a lot of people that do this, but you say, I struggled with my weight and food addiction most of my life, as far back as 5th grade. What were ways for you to cope with stuff like that?
What was that? What's the question?
What was the ways for you to cope with stuff like that?
With what?
With the weight and food addiction, because I was an opposite. I was always like not wanting to eat. So I'm like, I've never been in that position. So I was like, how do people cope with stuff like that?
So, well, there's coping, and then there's
Dealing with it, I guess.
Yeah, there's coping, and then there's healing and freedom.
Yeah,
so you
that's
got
right.
different. So I have one of the chapters. Chapter 4 is on addiction.
Okay.
And so we've got to go back to that, because it doesn't matter if it's food, it doesn't matter if it's a substance, it doesn't matter if it's a drug, alcohol, abusive relationship, cigarettes,
Very true.
technology. Addiction is addiction. Gambling, it's all the same. It really is. It's just a different drug and we've all got some kind of a weakness. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, I do.
We all do.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing, it cracks me up. You know, it's just an addiction is anything that it takes over your life. It becomes something that you have to have in order to be happy, to survive. So addicted on that chapter, really, by the time I was in my early 20s, I was really mad at the world. I had been sexually abused until I was 12 by family members, strangers, including my own dad. And then, so at 13, I was out here running the streets, started smoking cigarettes, hanging out with the bad boys. Always been around the bad boys since about 13. And so by 18, I was pregnant, 19 married, 20 divorced.
Oh, wow.
My stepmom hated me and caused a lot of turmoil in my life through my teenage years. So there was, by the time I'm 20, and that was a very abusive relationship with my first husband.
Yeah.
It was my high school sweetheart, turned very abusive. Got married just because, we were pregnant, and I was like, Holland was a Christian town, right?
Right.
And somebody told me, well, you can't get an apartment if you're, having a baby out of wedlock. So I got to get a place for my baby. So I got married, but it only lasted a year and a half because it was just so abusive. And so by the time in my early 20s, I am so mad at the world because I was like this happy, bubbly little girl, and the world just screwed me over. On every aspect, every level. It was just bad. And so I got introduced to marijuana. My next husband, who I was married to then 16 years, I found out everybody was smoking marijuana. It's all captive from me. But once I got my hands on it, it just became another addiction for me because that was my escape, my cope. So for 5 years, I was high every day. Until that was another thing that, again, an addiction in that chapter, how God delivered me. And the whole crazy thing about this book, because it says expose God's love revealed, I didn't write this because I was smart enough. I didn't heal because I was strong enough. I was just desperate, and God had pity and mercy on me, and he delivered me from a lot of things. And that's what's so cool about this story is it does glorify God because he does care about each one of us.
Yeah.
And he does have a plan for each one of us. And he's in the battle with us. And we have to remember that, even when it's dark. And sometimes you go through seasons where you don't hear him. And when you read the Bible, they went through stuff. And what cracks me up with when I wrote this, I do a lot of scriptures in with my story. And I think of people like, oh, they hate the Bible because, it's going to maybe put some rules on us. Or, we don't want rules. We don't want religion. We just want to do what we want to do and get away with it.
Right.
So I get that, And so people, for whatever reason, they don't like to read the Bible. But my story is so crazy that I love the Bible because there was a bunch of crazy people, y'all, in that Bible that God used. So I'm like, well, did you see what David did? Did you see what Abraham did? I had to use them because otherwise I'm looking crazy by myself. And I'm like, no, this has been going on since the beginning of time. My struggles are the same as anybody else, maybe a little different. They manifest differently, but we still all have the same struggles, and we still go through the same emotions, and we still go through, rejection and abandonment and hurt and pain and overcome because that's just, we're human. So that's, I just want to extend when you were talking about addiction too. I mean, I've heard, I'm around so many people and I love everyone. I even, love people that I've had really toxic relationships with. I just do. Yeah. God walked me through forgiveness was one of the number one things to heal me. Yes. Yeah. 1 whole year of forgiveness. So he went right after that. It was the first thing I had to go through to heal was forgiveness. And so that's a whole chapter on that. But what cracks me up when we talk about addiction, we, like you said, we get kind of judgmental, right? We easily, if we don't understand somebody else doing something, we get judgmental.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I'm around, people you could have a crackhead say, well, at least I don't do meth. And the meth head's like, oh, at least I don't do coke. It's like, I'm only an addict on the weekends. I don't do it every day. We compare our addictions. Like, my sin's not as big as that one, so it's okay. But, we're just all broken. We're all in need of a savior. And just stay humble and stay kind because people are going through things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had definitely in retrospect, I've had my, guess what I think of addictions, you know what I'm saying? I was, I started smoking weed in 9th grade. First time ever getting high. I remember a local dope boy had me out here selling rocks. And for my birthday, he gave me a fat bag of weed. He's like, man. I'm like, what do I do with this? He was like, sell it, smoke it. I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to be cool like my cousins, all my friends. I was around all the thugs, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, so I'm one of the biggest smokers in the school in our clique. I don't say his name. He's doing well now, business owner. Anyway, I was like, hey, I got this weed. He said, man, you ain't got no weed. I was like, I got some weed, bro. He said, let me see. I was high by the red and white shop. I'm looking around. I'm like, pull it out. He was like, he said, where'd you get this? I'm like, I got it. Hey, man, you want to skip? He skipped. So he skipped school. He left. He got his girlfriend's car. And we went and got high, man. And, like, I remember everything looked like Tekken. Everybody was the game Tekken that just came out. So I just remember everything I looked at. It was just like, like, it was so stupid. And I didn't look back. I was getting high all the way till I developed a tolerance to where it's like, you know, where I was like, you know what, I can handle it now. I can smoke and go to work. I can smoke and go here and be functional, live 19, you know what I'm saying? Freshen up, wash my nostrils out, brush my teeth, change my shirt. You know what I'm saying? I had a routine now, but then it was like I wasn't even smoking to get high after a while. I was smoking just to get by.
Mm-hmm.
I
like that.
I didn't even want to eat. You know what I'm saying? Until I was high, I was like, I'll make a whole hot meal, fry some fish, some mac and cheese, asparagus. I'd have made a whole meal. And I'm like, so I'm missing. Oh, yeah, I didn't smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I got to go blow something. Now I'm ready to eat. You know what I'm saying? And then it was just, it just came to a point where it was just like, this shit is controlling you, bro. And me trying to be out in the community and stuff like that. And where I'm like, I got to choose one. You know what I'm saying? And then God made me choose one. I got sick. I got pneumonia and COVID at the same time. It was like, yeah, sir, you got to stop smoking or die. Which one you want to do? I'm like, yeah, you know what? You can keep the weed. You know what I'm saying? And it's been almost 3 years now.
So,
you know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
I didn't realize I was addicted, though, was my point.
Yes.
Like, I was just like, everybody else, I heard everybody else doing it, but shit, everybody else is addicted too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, it was time.
Yeah, and they'll be like, well, you can't get addicted to marijuana. I had no physical withdrawals.
Yeah.
But they'll say, oh, I'm not addicted. I don't need it. Well, try taking it away and see how they trip. That's how you know you have an addiction. Let's take your blinky away and see how you feel.
In my circle,
Yeah.
went from here to here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, my homeboys they don't even call me no more.
Yeah.
Fishing trips, I don't go there no more with them, you know what I'm saying? Because this was a big part of it. I didn't even realize that, like, I can't go fishing without smoking, but it's just like, you know, they're so used to that with me, and I'm just like, you know, okay, well, I'll take that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we got a couple people mentioning. We got Elias says she used to stock the machines when I worked at Bettler.
Yeah.
Yep, I used to actually after I quit my job and lived out of my van for 9 months, I had to get a job because it was going to hit winter. I had to get settled, so I got a couple years of stocking vending machines in Bentler. I love my people at Bentler. Like, I still run into people. I run into people from everywhere I've been around now, but I do.
He also says she's such a nice person, and Miss Rios. I don't know.
Angie, right.
That's Angie.
You already know it.
That's Angie.
She says, "Go, girl."
You go, girl.
Oh yeah.
I love Bentler. I love my people at Bentler. I miss them.
So I was browsing.
And I learned you make a lot of friends with food.
Oh, of course you.
I mean, oh man, I had the vending machines, so I just took care of them.
Did you catch any of our Foodie Fridays episodes? No. Oh, man, we gotta
We'll
start
bring
doing
it back. We'll bring it back.
I noticed, so I'm browsing some of your chapters.
Yeah.
And I like how I don't know if you do it on all of them because I didn't really notice it like that. Well, maybe.
Should be pretty consistent. I'm pretty OCD.
Oh, it is. Okay. But I like how you put prayers at the end of each chapter.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool, actually. I like that.
Yeah, this again, God.
I don't know why I showed you like you never looked at it.
Yeah, I know. I tell people it's a good book. I read it a few times.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
I did. This was really a walk with God. I mean, just the whole thing was a process with God. And when I share my testimony, and this is going to glorify Him in a way that because people forget that God even exists. Like, we're just so busy in our life, but you can't, if people can believe this story and they believe what I've said, that this is my testimony, there's no doubt that there is a God and that He's real and that He cares and that He's right here with us, And I can still be cool, we can still be, we don't have to, especially in this community, it was really Dutch Reformed, and everybody looked like, you become a Christian, all of a sudden you look like you sucked on a lemon, like, you should be the happiest people in the world.
Exactly.
You got eternity to look forward to, you're a friend with Jesus, like,
Exactly.
why are you getting all cranky?
Right.
And I'm out here just having a great time, and, making a lot of people mad, just being me, and I love it.
That is very true, because it's almost like you have to watch it. The old, don't mow your grass on Sundays thing. I think I did it anyways. Cause it was like, how are you gonna tell me how to mow my grass? No.
Yeah.
But
It sounds
it's
like the Pharisees. There's a lot of Pharisees. I can't do that. I can't. In fact, I had the pre-release book launch a few weeks ago. Then the book released May 14. It's now on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's on Walmart.com. All of them. I have my website, shawnamartin.org. I also on Facebook, Shawna Martin. So follow me. I've got everything linked together. You can read first few chapters for free on Amazon. I have that link on my website.
What'd you say it was?
shawnamartin.org. And the reason I was saying that is because, the book was prophesied 13 years ago and then just now being fulfilled. But it was 20 years ago that God planted that ministry seed in me. I knew I was going to be someday in ministry. There it is.
Oh.
Yeah, there it is.
Let me put that on the screen.
So I knew that I had the ministry call before the book came. I didn't know how God was going to do it. Just God plants these little words of knowledge, these little seeds, and He just kind of takes time to develop them. And so a few days after the book launch, I was having a conversation with God. You can keep it real. I can ask God a question. For real, He will answer within minutes, hours, or days. Just try it. Seriously, talk to God. He will show up in some crazy way. He has answered me on the craziest stuff. I have crazy stories in here that can testify, it was only God. There was no other way, because I didn't say to anybody else, and yet I got the answer. And so a few days after the book launch, I was like, okay, God, I had this issue. I didn't know what to do about church and with the churches around here, and trying to find your place. Still, I'm trying to find that place, and I've been involved in many different churches around here, so I have a lot of people that I've gotten close to.
Right.
But all of a sudden, God downloaded all this church stuff, and it's time to launch my own ministry. So I'm going to start this Saturday.
Sweet.
11 a.m. We will do. So it'll be Saturday church. So there, you can mow the lawn back on Sunday now. There you go. You're free. You're free to mow the lawn.
City ordinance.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I live in Lakes on Top.
Oh, yeah, that's
that doesn't
true.
apply to me.
You're an alligator.
I forgot. Never mind.
Carry on.
Yeah.
And I have that information on Facebook. I have a flyer up and stuff that's going around. So. I'm like, I thought we was just going to launch a book, but I guess God's ready.
Oh, you launching.
I'm launching.
Launching.
I'm launching. For years this stuff has been in here, so we'll see how it comes out, but.
Trying to come out swinging, baby.
Coming out swinging.
Out of all these chapters, man, there's some good stuff. I remember, I got a preview of the book, y'all. Before it came out, she emailed me. Say it is. I'm like, okay. I was like, I was choked up. I was like, damn, girl. All right. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I just love how, at this point in your life, you just, you know, shame your game. You know what? This is what it is. And that's the only way that you can get through to people and for people to feel you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just let it out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's healing for you as well. And anybody else is just, to share that. I've been through this. You know what I'm saying? To hold in. That's one of my biggest things.
Yeah.
Problems is I hold in a lot of my aggression or pissed offness or whatever you call it, you know what I'm saying, instead of just spilling. And this shows, people can tell, what's wrong with you? No, nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Knowing damn well, you know, I might be a little bottled up about something, you know what I'm saying? But needless to say, what I was going to ask you is, out of all these chapters, is there one that you was like, you know, this chapter was the hardest one to write?
Absolutely.
Which one was that?
Absolutely.
I'm
So
I'm gonna look it up.
you're gonna look at it's actually the shortest chapter because it's that hard. Like I just want in and out. I'm in and out. I got like 3 pages. I'm like, that's all that printed. Like, I was done.
Straight up.
So and it's crazy. And I'm glad you mentioned shame because as a childhood sexual abuse victim or abuse victim, abuse and even mental health issues, you do a lot of that alone. People don't know how to help you. You don't know how to help yourself. You don't know how to get out of things. You know, it's a very lonely place, and you do carry shame, and it wasn't until last year, like that was my New Year's last year, I'm no longer carrying shame. I am no longer carrying shame. And so that took 45 years just to get there. So this is why it takes so long for God to, you know, he makes sure, he takes care of us, makes sure we're ready. So the hardest chapter is chapter 2, and that's hated without a cause. And that was harder than my first chapter. The first chapter is a loss of innocence, and that was all the childhood sexual abuse. And then hated without a cause was the absolute hate I got from my stepmom. Still don't know why to this day, but it was a very dark place. Like they had like family parties, and I wouldn't get invited. I was the one that got bumped as a teenager. They didn't want to make her mad, so. It was just so tormented for me. So it wasn't until last year that I could actually get through that chapter without going into a very dark place. So I would get in and out quick out of that because I would write it really quick or read it really quick and bolt, you know, because it would bring me to such a dark place. Like I would want to jump out a window. That's how traumatic and that was my stepmom who hated me versus all the abuse and sexual, like I don't know why that one was so hard for me. But it was a very hard thing, and you know,
And everything else is 10 plus pages, that one 5.
yeah, that one we just getting in and out. She hates me, let's move on. No, I do write some detail. It's hard. You have a mom that loved you for a minute and then turned, and I was just a kid. So when I raised my stepchildren, I just raised them as my own. I couldn't imagine putting them through.
Now, how was your dad and her relationship?
They divorced.
So
there was finally an ultimatum that if he either had to disown me or
that was the basis of that?
That was later on, yeah.
Oh wow.
That was later on. So
jeez.
He did choose me, I guess. So yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he does.
Hell yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I had something to say and I lost it.
I'm sorry.
There was something about that chapter. It was last year. That's what I was gonna say. I had another huge testimony last year. Another huge God moment. Let's give. This one was a biggie. So, like I said, the last 3 years were the most traumatic of my life, and it's not in this book. At some point, this book was done. I wrote it in 2018. I already got the next book started. That's gonna be a good one. But last year, going through some pretty hard stuff. I was editing the book. I was already working with the publisher. It's published with TBN, Trinity Broadcast Network, and so I was going through the process of publishing, but I was still going through some pretty big stuff, and I was like, God, I need you to heal me. Like, I'm asking for another miracle. Like, I've had a ton of miracles, but I need another. I need another miracle.
How many you got left?
He's got unlimited miracles,
plenty
right?
of them,
I'm like,
yeah.
I need a miracle.
Yeah.
This is just, I need you to heal me. That was I need that miracle. Like, I need you to heal the pain, in my heart that's going on. And that was a prayer. I said it on Thursday night. And I just prayed, God, I need you to heal me. I need a huge miracle from you. Because I knew this was going to come out. And I didn't want to be carrying it or anything. 2 days later, Saturday morning, I get a knock at my door. It's one of my cousins. She doesn't live in town. I didn't know she knew where I lived. And she knocks on my door. I answer, startled, because I'm like, hey girl, what's up? You know, because she didn't even call. Like, I didn't know she was coming. She knocks on my door, and I answer, and she's like, God sent me. He said he sees your pain, and he doesn't want you carrying it anymore. I broke down. I mean, that's literally what happened. That's 2 days later.
That's cool and weird at the same
It is cool and weird. You talk about super. This is what's happened throughout my whole life.
Yeah.
This is all. That's my testimony. So we sit together for a minute, and I'm crying because I know what I just prayed, and she had no idea. It was Thursday night when I prayed that he put me on her mind,
Yeah.
and she came to my door a couple days later.
And you said she didn't know she didn't know where you lived?
I didn't know she knew where I lived.
Oh, okay.
She lives out of town. Like, she just showed up at my door
Yeah.
and said, God sent me.
Wow.
And says he sees your pain and he doesn't want you carrying it anymore. And I just started crying because that's right straight from God right there. Like, he heard that prayer. And so I'm sitting with her, we're talking, and she had just come through, she's big into prophecy and deliverance. And she grew up with abuse within the church when just a little girl. So God's done some amazing things with her. She's out here tearing it up too, you know, for the kingdom. So
Cool.
she's like, she had just gone through a deliverance conference, and she's like, I feel like there's probably some demonic oppression. You know, if we want to talk about spirits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, there's probably a few hanging around, you know, a few
Right.
tormenting me or something. I got a few, I'm
Yeah.
sure. A few open doors. And so we met on a couple days later on a Monday. I went to her house. She has a cute little prayer room and whatnot. And she's like, you know, we're just gonna pray and see what happens and call it out.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, let's do that. And I've been around this for decades. I have done Freedom in Christ sessions. I used to facilitate them, helping people kind of break off, again, the spiritual realm. We have to look at every realm that's going on,
Yeah.
physical, spiritual, everything. So we're sitting there, and she's like, well, how big do you want to go? Like, I don't know how big this can get. I said, you know what? I said, we're just going to do everything. I said, we're going to tackle this. I said, and this is what I said at the beginning of this little session. I said, I feel like God's going to do some open heart surgery. That was what came out of my mouth, an open heart surgery I felt. And so we just sat there, we prayed, and we're like, you know, any spirits, and they just started popping up, like 7 at one time. We just casting them out, you know. We got authority in Jesus' name. We was calling them out. They were showing. I closed my eyes. I could see them in my vision, and they just kept coming. I thought I had a few. I swear it seemed like 50. I think there was 50. There were like 50 of them, and we call them out by name. You know, it could be depression. It could be unforgiveness. You know, those spirits are real, and they attach to us when we hang on to these things in our lives, or they come in all different ways. And so we're gonna believe in God. We're gonna believe in angels. We gotta also believe that there's a dark force too.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So all of a sudden, after some time, and all these spirits, like all of a sudden there was nothing. It was gone, and there was nothing else because they were popping up. We'd call them up, and I'd say there's another one, and I'd see them, and we cast them out, and then all of a sudden finally it was done. There was nothing. There was no more. I'm like, I think it's quiet. It's quiet. There's nothing else here. And then all of a sudden, in a vision I had, and I have visions, and they're in the book. There was lots of visions in the book. All of a sudden in the vision, I saw my heart open, like open heart surgery, and like everything had come out. And then all of a sudden, these happen quick. This is like a second. All of a sudden, I see my heart open. Next thing I know, I see it stitched up by God's hand. Like, I see my heart stitched up, right? We just opened the heart, now we gotta stitch it up, right? Second later, I see a scar, right? You open it, you got a wound, you got a scar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
1 second later, scar was gone. There was no scar. I actually edited the book and I felt nothing. I can talk about this now, I feel nothing. Not even a scar. So when you look at the Bible and you look at Daniel, the little three amigos, right? They're thrown in the fire. Jesus walking around with them. They eventually come out. They don't even smell like smoke. That's how God heals.
Exactly.
That's deep.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, you gotta be open to it though, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people are so scared of God,
Yes.
which is, you should be God fearing at the same time. You shouldn't be scared to go to him if you're doing the right thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's the misconception is that, that, you have to be doing good and to approach God. It was like, no, he wants you to come to him when things are bad. Like, that's how he is, I mean, if everything is all good, and what is adversity for, you know what I'm saying? Everything, there has to be, like you said, there's good, there's bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how we know, how we decipher the difference, so I've come a long way myself with that.
It's
So
awesome.
it's
He knows us better than we know ourselves, and that's what he loves us. That's what exposed God's love revealed. When I started my healing journey at 27, I was still smoking weed every day. But I knew I needed God. I was doing this for quite a few years without him. I was just doing my own thing. And I wanted God back, but I couldn't break myself off of weed. I couldn't stop smoking. I tried quitting for 3 years. I couldn't do it. So you know what I did? I showed up with God with my weed. I was sitting there hitting my pipe, reading my Bible, smoke my joint, and go to church. Just show up, and he will meet you there. And then he delivered me. Everything that I've been healed from, he delivered me. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't strong enough. And there's still stuff, and he's still delivering me. And I believe that if he delivered me from all these things and healed me from all these things, he's got more for me.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had depression now since 2011. I've been anxiety free for 3 years.
Nice.
And I explain all of these things in there, how I became free. Like, literally. The miracles plus the applicable steps that I had to take.
Yeah.
How I had to face the fears. And how I had, how to combat depression and hopelessness.
yeah.
That's good.
And
That's good.
I think it's so when you put weed or anything, like you said, addiction, when you put it in front of God, you know what I'm saying? If you make it more of a priority than actually being spiritual with him, God is a jealous God. So, like, because I personally know preachers that they smoke good weed. They use it. They believe in the whole cannabis flower effect. But I look at the works that they do in the community. They have their priorities straight. They're like, okay, what I do in my personal life, that's on me. That's my choice. You know what I'm saying? But right now, when I'm out here doing God's work, I'm doing God's work, and they get it done.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to balance those. Like for me, I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had to choose. Like I said, the amount of God chose for me. He was like, oh no, man, I'm not letting you choose. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I let it go, Malik, and I was like,
How do you do it? Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. So you let
Yeah,
yourself go.
yeah, you know, Malik, you know, like I know, you ever just
Yeah.
trying to like.
Yeah, and I being, this, few decades in, walking with God for 40 years, I've been in the church my whole life, I've been on these streets my whole life. And I can tell you, I don't care if it's from the pulpit to the prison, God loves each one of us equally. And from the pulpit to the prison, everybody's just as broken.
That's
Well
true.
put. Well put, my lady. Like,
That's a
No,
good,
those have been downloaded recently.
I definitely think your book needs to be seen. I'm definitely gonna push the agenda for it. There's a few women
I got
I
it.
know
Oh, you can see.
that could definitely benefit from this right here. They like definitely where I was just at this past weekend in Flint. Like a few of my family members and their friends. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, you know what I'm saying? Like life is real.
Yeah.
This thing is for real. You know what I'm saying? And so,
100%.
I have a heart for all people, but definitely ministry for women coming out of the abuse and everything like that. And this is an easy read. It's not a big thing. I got people. I have so many testimonies already flying in, and I put some up on the website.
Yeah, we just saw a couple.
One person hasn't read a book since high school. She read it the first night,
Oh, wow.
and already a couple chapters.
I read a book
And I got other
since
people
Dr.
that
Seuss.
call me after the first chapter, like, I need a break, I need to take all this in, I need a cigarette, and I'm like, you can just take your time. We can work through this together.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a call.
yeah, sometimes you gotta process that.
They're like,
process
what?
information.
You,
Yeah,
you want to know the literally the last book that I remember ever checking out?
Don't say green eggs.
There was
man.
no. It was a book at Longfellow. That when you open it up, it had like it was split in half, and you can change the way the view looks. Like, for example, I had a picture of New York City, but you can change the top part to a different picture.
Oh my god.
But I was like, that's weird. So how does that even make sense?
Wait a minute. That's the last book you read?
It was Longfellow.
Not even in high school.
Dude, I was barely in high school. I checked out a book. Well, it was only for class, but
Not hungry.
I know. Hungry Hippos?
Hungry.
No, it's been a while, but yeah. But yeah, looking at your book, I mean, I think it's a pretty good one. I like it. I like how you have the prayers and the verses, because I use the app, the Bible app, Uverse, I think it's called, version or something. I'm gonna look at it because it's gonna make me mad if I get it wrong.
Yeah, there's good Bible apps. There's a lot of good Bible apps.
It's called.
Nobody's gonna really understand the book.
I don't know. It just says Bible.
You like people. Y'all gotta get inside of this book and really read this, get the details. Like, you know what I'm saying? She said a few things, but there's nothing like what's actually in
Right,
there.
there's a lot. You don't want to miss it. There's way too much detail. You're just getting kind of a synopsis, but there's so much. And the first 5 chapters are hard, but I'm like, don't stop there. It gets better.
Right.
Then there's the healing, and it's going to show you just how to be set free in your own life. So yeah, definitely you want to read the detail. Everybody's going to relate to something in here. And it's funny, for the last several years, knowing this book, I hear people talk all the time about a subject. They're doing this, they're struggling with this. I got a chapter on that. I got a chapter on that. You want to simplify your life and organize your home? I got a chapter on that. You want to chase your dream? I got a chapter on that. You want to live debt free? I got a chapter on that.
I'm gonna read that.
It's good. It's all about being set free. And I realized, Malik, you said people are scared of God, and it was just this week, and I'm like, people are either scared of God or they're mad at God.
Mm-hmm.
And He's the one that is trying to help us.
Yeah.
He's
Exactly.
the one that died for us, to save us. It's the enemy that's trying to kill, steal, and destroy.
Oh, yeah.
That's his only purpose.
Yep. I
We're
believe
just so thick-headed, man. I'm an Israelite. I'm just gonna keep wandering around in the wilderness, so I can't.
Listen, yeah, I like how you said that, because I was down in Flint this weekend, and we had a couple pastors that spoke at the Silence of Violence Walk at the end, and kind of gave the people, the citizens of Flint, the floor. And one of the young fellows, man, he had tattoos all over his face, you know what I'm saying, everywhere. Just like, I seen him out when I first seen him, like, this is an interesting young fella right there. And I found he got pardoned for a murder. And so he spoke, and I heard him spoke, and he was like, man, it's hard for me to believe in God. He said, if God made man, he said, then why would he put us here? Like, how y'all expect us to believe in God, and this is happening to us? You talk about the Flint water crisis, which is still going on. You know what I'm saying? The Flint water situation. While I'm down there, 4 people got murdered just that weekend I was down this
Oh
past
my
week.
gosh.
4 people. 4 people got killed in one weekend while I was in Flint. And it was just so sad how it was nothing to my Flint people. The people, it was like, it happened here in Holland, you be like, damn, who was it? Straight up, oh. It's down there like, oh, for real? Oh, okay, yeah, that's messed up. They gonna keep going what they doing, keep playing the PlayStation. Oh, Max Beef? Y'all know what it was. They don't even ask who it was. They just wait to hear who it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was gut-wrenching. So I'm like, damn. When I'm down there, I'm hearing gunshots. I'm like, damn, it's the opposite from Holland. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you, Mom, for getting us about this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it takes a deeper understanding of how the Most High really works. You know, so you have to build that own relationship by yourself. You can't depend on Pastor such and such. We can't even depend on you. We can't depend on. It's up to you to build your own relationship with the Most High. And so, and when people get really figure that out, which is hard for these young kids to figure out, because Instagram and Facebook got them going.
Our
You know what I'm
kids are
saying?
in so much trouble.
They're in trouble.
This generation.
They're in trouble.
We thought we was trouble in the 80s and 90s,
Oh, yeah.
70s.
Right.
But, I mean, it's...
Pac-Man compared to
There's a
Instagram.
revival. There's a revival coming. I know,
A
I know
new
revival
version,
is-
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
let's see. Yeah, and I don't think God's gonna really just allow us to just, how can I say though? I don't know what you're gonna do with it. I'm just saying. I hope you know, because I'm looking at my 8-year-old. He was just at my play rehearsal. He's in a play I wrote. I just dropped him off at home, and he got out the car and said, "I love you, Dad." I said, "Love you too, son." And I just smiled at him like this, and he was like, why you looking at me like that? I just love you, man. Like, I could imagine him being subjected to anything worse, you know what I'm saying? But he is around that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So as parents, we just have to do our part.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I have a chapter on parenting and then teenagers. I had 4 teenagers for 10 years. You can survive that. You can survive anything. I have a whole chapter on that. Same thing with teenagers or stepchildren. Again, it's so relevant. You didn't ask me what my favorite chapter was.
I was coming.
Oh.
I was coming.
I'll ask you.
Oh, okay.
Which one's your
You know
favorite?
what I mean?
We set him up for that.
Yeah,
Honestly,
what is your favorite chapter?
My favorite chapter is second to last, Repent, Jesus is Coming. If you believe my story, you believe my testimony, you believe that this is from God because it was prophesied and fulfilled. You know, I can't even,
Yes.
okay, let's just do that. Go right from the Repent, Jesus is Coming. You know, we've known for 2,000 years he's coming back.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a fun chapter. It's a good
You better
chapter.
be ready.
So the first several chapters of the book is you're just going to relate. You're going to relate. Hopefully, you're going to gain some trust with who I am and what God's done in my life. And by the time you get to Jesus, you're going to be like, oh, maybe Jesus is real. Maybe
exactly.
and people are going to turn to Him as their Savior.
Yep.
And so that's just my favorite chapter because and then let your little light shine. Get out there. You're going to get healed. You're going to get set free. Now go help other people do that same thing.
That's a good one.
So it's
Yeah.
good. It's all God covered it. Yeah, I mean he covered it all, and he covered a lot. I can big relevant things really quick. I mean, just not only did he heal me and set me free from the depression, anxiety, lots of different kinds of abuse, addiction. I'm talking decades of homosexuality, healing from abortion. So any woman out there, please, God has healing for you, no matter what you've done or what's been done to you. Okay? It's in here.
Amen.
It's in here. It's a lot.
Mhm.
But God ain't shocked. He ain't surprised.
Yep.
We've been
Got
doing this since Adam and Eve.
Yeah, 'cause yeah, exactly. That far back.
He's a rescuer.
So before we end the show, I want to give you a chance to let everybody know again where they can purchase this
Yeah, absolutely.
and your website.
Okay, so the website is shawnamartin.org. You can even Google Shawna Martin Ministries. It's going to pop right up. In there, you'll get some more, basically what I shared tonight. You'll see there's a testimonial page. There's a page on the book. You'll see the book cover. There'll be a purchase now. Brings you right to Amazon. And you can actually read a few chapters for free before you even purchase the book. There's testimonials on there, what people are saying, getting great reviews. I just want to help a lot of people with anything you're struggling with. If you need hope in any area of your life, you can go on Amazon, you can go on Walmart, you can go on Barnes & Noble. The book's $18.99. That's set through at TBN. If you're in the local Holland area, you want a signed copy, I have them on hand. Message me. You can message me through my website or on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook too. I put inspirational quotes up every single day, and I keep, you're going to see what's going on with me and what I'm doing in ministry, because this is just the beginning. Cool. So follow me on Facebook, and let's just make a difference out here.
All right.
Love it. Thank you, Shawna.
Thank you for
We
being
were talking about it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? You finally made it. We was able to pick up the
We've been
pieces.
waiting a minute for this.
Yeah. Like I did, the STEM festival. I mean, Tool Time.
Might as well be a STEM festival.
So
That was horrible.
I'm glad you made it. Never on schedule, but always on time, right?
Exactly.
That's how it works,
How many times I thought it was, this is the time. Thank God it wasn't.
Right.
You don't want them to release you early. Lord
You
Jesus.
tell me your plans if you want to.
Yeah.
Tell me if you want to, but yeah, it's been awesome, man. Just being your friend and seeing your journey from my perspective. You know what I'm saying? I've only had the 2018 and now version of you,
Yeah.
and so all that before, man, just you being able to convey it into a book now that's awesome, man. And you there, and you see already working on number 2, and
That's gonna be a big one.
that's gonna be huge.
That's gonna be
So
good.
no doubt.
And when is that? Or are you still writing that one?
I'm still writing that
Okay,
one.
cool. So we'll hear more from Shawna Martin as soon as her new book is released or about to be released, and when it's going to be released.
Yeah, a couple of years.
A
but-
couple years, so we got some
Well,
time.
look at this. Let's get this
Yep.
one out.
Right,
Let's
you gotta
this
get
one
some more
rolling.
material.
I got all the material.
Right, we got all the
Time.
material.
Yes, I
Time.
got the material. Now I just need the time.
And sorry, Bentler, but these probably won't be in the vending machine.
Right.
All right.
We get our own copies.
All right, y'all gotta go get it from the real source, so.
Yeah.
Sure, appreciate
Thank
you,
you
lady, for
so
real.
much for
No
letting me
doubt
on
it's
your.
been real, and,
And this episode was brought to you by Pure West Compassion Club, located on Adams Street next to Lowe's, 616-772-9420, and Angela Zamudio's cleaning, or Zamudio Ramos Cleaning Service. I always mess that up. 616-321-0309, owned by Angela Zamudio.
you just wear shoes in the business.
Right. Excuse me, this allergy stuff is messing me up.
Get 'em.
But we want to thank you for being on tonight, and yeah, good luck and the best wishes on everything.
Thank you. We'll get the word out.
Go buy this book at what'd you say, Walmart?
Online, or you can get if you want to get a copy from me, if you're here, I'll sign it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, she gotta get a picture of her son. She gonna do the wall thing?
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you guys on tomorrow, actually. So, everybody have a good night. Peace.